Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to the Steelers Hangover. We are hungover from Easter candy. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis. Alongside me is Tony Defeo. I got an awesome text yesterday from my good friend Tony saying Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well. I have a bit of a toothache, but it seems like I always have one this time of year, so I'm good.
You know, I was joking about the candy hangover, but this happened to me in 2002. I'm an adult at this point. And it was right after my separation leading into my divorce. I went home to my parents' house for Easter, and my sister bought me all this candy. And I like the sweet tart eggs and like this stuff, like Sour Patch Kids and stuff like that. And she got me all that. And I'm at work and I broke out the candy and I'm at my desk and I kept eating candy. Then all of a sudden I got up. I was working in Enterprise Rent-A-Car at the time, and I got up to wait on a customer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was dizzy. Then all of a sudden my head started spinning, and I realized I didn't eat lunch, and I was just eating candy, and I got a candy hangover. I was sugar drunk.
Wow, that's a lot of candy.
Hey, and you'd be shocked. I take diabetes medication now too. Wonder how that happened. You don't even know what to say to that.
No, I mean, my uncle has that now. The adult onset diabetes. Yeah, I guess it's
well, mine fluctuates with my weight, and my A1C's down since I lost some weight, so doing pretty well. But it was all brought on by my habits, so there you go. But Tony, it is a Monday. We are in draft month.
Oh yeah.
The draft is not too far away, which we have some great things to talk about, and something I want to talk to all of you about. It's your chance to draft in a couple of weeks. Do you believe 2 weeks from now we are going to do the second annual BTSC Hangover mock draft?
I can't believe it. And just so you know, that draft, that mock draft is the only one that's ironclad. So that's the one that the NFL is going to model its real draft after. So just be prepared. So
here is what you've got to do, though, Tony. It's not you drafting. You're going to get a chance to draft the week after. I'm going to get a chance to draft the week after. We're going to have some special guest stars from BTSC as well. I think they might be from down under, but I'm not sure. I got to talk to them for sure. But this is your chance to do it. Hey, you know what's funny? One of our guys from down under was actually number 7 in the draft last year. He was in the live chat. And he was in our first annual BTSC Hangover draft. That was Marky D. So check that out.
And now he's a radio star. You got one of you guys could be next year's Marky D.
He's one of our BTSC boy banders. So yeah, there you go.
It's like The Voice.
So here's what we're gonna do. If you want to go ahead and be involved in this draft, you can't tell us on the live chat. I can't look at it in the live chat. I can't go back and get all those. You also have to do some work for it. 1, first roll of Fight Club. No, actually, first roll of BTSC draft. You're allowed to talk about the BTSC draft. That's fine.
Yes, right.
Second roll, talk more about the BTSC draft. Download the draft. Tell everybody about it. That's what you got to do. Now, if you want to be involved, you just have to promise to be on the show. And the show, I will already set the time. We're going to set the time at 8 o'clock sharp, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 26th. So I said 2 weeks from tonight. It's actually 3 weeks from tonight because we're going to do our draft 2 weeks from tonight. So I made a mistake there already. So the 26th at 8 p.m., you have to promise to be on here. And what you need to do to enroll in this, there's 2 ways to do it. Twitter, hashtag BTSCBAD, send me a message request. Is that how you do it? Is that You can send it to Tony too.
Yeah, you can send me one. I'll relay that information over to Bryan. It's all good. Either one of us are good.
So you can send it to Tony. You know me, I'm hashtag BTSCBAD, and your hashtag Defeo Man.
That's it.
Defeo Man, DEFEOMAN.
Really creative. That's what I want. With something really creative for that, just so you would remember.
Or I'm going to go ahead and put this in the live chat. It's St. Myron, because of Myron Cope. You know that. At gmail.com. Now, we are going to
Mine in there as well.
I'll let you do it. You can type it, Tony. How about that?
What's that?
You could type your email.
Oh, you want me to put? Oh, I did.
Oh, there you go.
There. Yeah.
So that's the way to do it. And we are going to take the first 31. Why the 31? Once again, Tony, tell them why. It's the Joe Burrow rule.
It's the Joe Burrow rule. Last year, somebody drafted Chase Young, #1 overall, and it just really sent everything into a tizzy, if that's the right word. So #1 is Trevor Lawrence. It's ironclad. It has to be Trevor Lawrence, and then everything else is up for debate within reason, of course. But yeah, #1 is off the board. Trevor Lawrence has already signed his deal. He's ready to go.
Now, what we are going to do on the 19th, we need to have all of these in by the 18th of April. So if you want to do that, you have about 2 weeks to do so. On the 19th, we are going to draw out of a hat. We're going to have our own draft lottery on this very show, Tony.
Woo! I'm excited.
So we did that last year. We just did it on a Saturday. We just showed up, and Jeff's like, "You didn't even tell me you were going to do that." I'm like, "Yeah, sorry. we just showed up and did it."
I remember that now. I forgot all about that.
And I'm like, "You're right. I should have done it." So this year we're doing it. Gyro's already in. He just sent the email out, so that's awesome. Also,
he ain't playing around.
Also, you know what? Follow us on Twitter too.
Right.
We'd love for you to follow us on Twitter. You don't have to follow us, but it would be awesome. I'm close to 300, Tony. I know you've got a lot more than that, but
well,
I don't do it. You do. You're awesome on Twitter. I don't do that much. Felicia's asking how much for the mulch. That's we sell mulch for $5 a bag here, but to deliver it, you've got to be in Maryland, and that's my scout troop that I'm the scoutmaster of. That's awesome. How'd you find that out, Felicia? That's awesome. Unless I talked about it. Oh yeah, I did talk about it. Yes, I talked about it. We're doing the mulch sale that day of the draft, not our draft here, but the last day of the draft that weekend. And I'm busy, guys. I have to be on the draft. So that's what we're going to do. Russ says, just want to thank both Bad and Tony for how much appreciation you show us, the fans, your family. Yes, you are our BTSC family. Russ, thanks for the $4.99. We really appreciate it. We love you all. And this is something that I haven't been ignoring this on purpose, but I think it's hilarious. And I just want to bring it up because I love this. Bad itch.
I like that.
How come it's not showing up? I'm only here so I don't get fined. I love that. You are not going to get fined. You are going to be rewarded for being here. So once again, if you want to be a part of it, if you definitely want to be a part of it, all you've got to do is this. You just have to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
We will let you know who you're going to be drafting for beforehand, and that's going to be really cool. So we'll do that together. And Solarverse was in it last year. He sent his in as well. So you'll find out live. You'll have a week to prepare for it, knowing where you're picking. But once again, we're just gonna go with Trevor Lawrence, #1 pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're gonna say it now. Now, if you get the Jets, pick like you're the general manager of the Jets. If, heaven forbid, you get the Ravens, put yourself in the shoes of Wang Harbs and those guys and pick like you're picking legitimately for the Ravens. resist the fact for a punter. Tony, if somebody picks a punter, what are we going to do?
Despite the fact that John Harbaugh is a former special teams coach, we'll have to override that and go with something else. Unfortunately,
Donald Nolan did get the Bucs last year, and they won the Super Bowl. I can't remember. I think Donald did pick a offensive lineman. He might have been right on for them, and that's what they did. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Somebody's going to get the Steelers. In fact, we might even do a couple. We might even do a couple Steelers this year. I might extend the Steelers to 2. So we might have some fun. That Port Naquenba, that is actually really hilarious. I love that. Trade Harbaugh to the Eagles, that's where he started, right?
Yeah.
We aren't going to allow trades in the draft. We are going to do a non trading draft, just to keep it simple, because Tony and we're not that smart, are we, Tony?
I don't have that kind of attention span. I don't have attention to detail.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to put my commas in my articles all these years later. I still don't know. Like, I'll just wing it.
So that's what we're going to do. So I love it. I can't wait for this. This is a very fun night that we're going to have in 3 weeks from now. Then we will have the draft lottery coming up in 2 weeks. So get ready for that and get those in. Some people are asking for a 2-round draft. I don't know if we could handle a 2-round draft, Tony.
That might take 2 or 3 hours. I think we went over that already, and I remember I groaned. I was like, "No," and you're like,
so we're not going to do that. So speaking of draft day trades, this is not going to be a draft day trade because it happened today, but it's definitely going to really affect the draft. Tony, what were your thoughts when you read that Sam Darnold was traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 6th-round pick in 2021 and a 2 and a 4 in 2022?
I'd say it's a pretty good, pretty fair investment for a quarterback that just 3 years ago was that draft's Trevor Lawrence in many ways. I mean, he was thrust into a pretty bad situation in New York with the Jets, and they've had a lot of turnover with coaches and roster, and maybe he never got a fair shake there. So, if he can resurrect his career in Carolina, I think if he becomes a quarterback that everybody thought he could be coming out of college, and that's a very small price to pay for Carolina.
We talked about this a little bit last week. I'm one of the few that really love Sam Darnold. I don't think he really had the benefit of a good coach and anything around him worthwhile in his couple years with the Jets. Now, if I'm the Cleveland Browns that year, I'm not picking Baker Mayfield. I would have picked Sam Darnold. And I think Sam Darnold would have been great for the Browns.
And he still could have been great for the Jets. I mean, that's the thing that drives me crazy about these teams is they give up on these quarterbacks so quickly.
Now, I've got a buddy who is a Jets fan. He grew up in Johnstown with me. He lives in Pittsburgh now, hates the Steelers. And the reason he hates the Steelers, when you're growing up in the late 70s, early 80s in a black and gold town, everybody's teasing you when you're wearing your Richard Todd jersey to a 5th and 6th grade. So and he's a diehard. He's man. Now he had some revenge on everybody in '86 because of the Mets, and he was a big fan of the Islanders, and he got 4 in a row with that. So he got a little bit, but and we had his brother on the show last year. His brother Ed is he's the play-by-play man for our hometown football team, and we had him on this very show. Now, his brother Jim, who I just talked to tonight over text, and he was telling me, he's like, I hate that the Jets did this. They finally got a really good head coach. And Richard Salah, I might, I pronounce things wrong, and I get it, but I think he's fantastic coming over from the 49ers. I think he is the right coach. I would have loved to have seen them see what they can do with Sam Darnold and putting a team around them. But that's the Jets. And as a Jets fan, he's frustrated because he feels like they're just starting over again.
Yeah.
It's square one again. Tyler W., you have not missed it. You go ahead. All you have to do is email Tony or myself. And Tony, you could go ahead and put it up there again. Or you could go ahead on Twitter, BTSCBAD, or hashtag Defeoman, DEFEOMAN. And you put it back up there. Thanks. You put your stuff up there. I will go ahead and put stmyron@gmail.com if you want to do that. So you're fine. You're fine. We're not tabulating them now. We probably won't get the first 32. So if you're listening to this later on any of our podcast platforms, or you're watching it on YouTube later on, or Facebook later on, there's time to do it. You're not going to miss out.
Right.
Go ahead, get you in, because we also have a reserve list too. So you're going to be fine. Now, as far as the Darnold trade, I wanted the Steelers to go after Sam Darnold, and I don't think that's a steep price. I mean, the Steelers could have given up a 6th round pick and a 2 and a 4. Of course, Carolina's is probably going to be better because they're probably going to be drafting higher. But I really thought that I don't think that Sam Darnold got a fair shake. And remember, Steeler fans, if 1970 was 2021, or 1972 was 2021, we would have traded Terry Bradshaw for a 6th and a 2nd and a 4th in 73.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
And even back then, they were starting to get impatient. You know, and he still had 5 years to really work things through. Yeah.
So I don't think teams go ahead and really give their players much of a chance. But that's kind of what we're talking about. But if you're intrigued by the headline, are the Steelers in 2021 market ready, or are they fixer-uppers? Now, this isn't the entire team. This is a position group, and we're going to go position by position. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the offense tonight. And then next week, we'll go ahead and do the defense. You think that's fair, Tony?
I think it's more than fair.
So let's go ahead and get this started. And we're not just going to say whether they're fixer-uppers or we're going to say why and what you're going to do to fix it. Man, we've got somebody from Barbados here, Simon Elias. I love it. Love the show, watching from Barbados. That's great. I love it. I got to get to Barbados. I need to take Mrs. Bad to Barbados. Hey.
That sounds like a fun place.
I just thought of something. You can't spell Barbados without bad.
There you go.
I need to go. Simon, you'll put me up? All right, here we go. So, Tony, let's start with the quarterback position. Now, this is you could make this for 2021, or you could make this for the next 5 years if you wish. You can do whatever you want. But do you feel like this is right now? Let's just go with 2021. I think that's the most fair.
Things change so quickly, so yeah.
2021. Now look at it as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it as starter and backups. Are you fixing up this position, or is this market ready for the 2021 big sale?
I'd say it's market ready. Obviously, Ben is Ben, and he's their guy for 2021 as a starter. And Mason Rudolph now is heading into year number 4. He's had experience as a starter. He's backed up Ben. He's fixed in the number 2 role as the backup to Ben. So I think that you're okay there. They're not going to bring anybody in to try to be that guy this year. And Dwayne Haskins, he has some pedigree. He's a former 1st-round pick. And going into the training camp anyway, he's your 3rd stringer. So I think you're okay there.
I agree with you for the most part. I'm not sold on Dwayne Haskins yet. Like I said, I'm more sold on Dennis Haskins, and he's the I've used this joke way too much. He's the principal from Saved by the Bell, Mr. Belding.
Yes.
So
I watched it at the gym now, so that's how I get through my run.
We're binge watching Love Boat. Man, I gotta get a job. So, that and NCIS. That's what's on at the Bad House right now. But I digress. Yeah, I'm still wanting a more experienced backup to Ben Roethlisberger. Somebody that I feel very comfortable if he goes down for 4 weeks. I'm still not sold after a Week 17 game in 2020 with Mason Rudolph. I'm just not. But this is your part of the show, so you're saying fixer-upper, and that's what we're going to go with. Actually, I'm sorry, you're saying market ready, so that's what we'll go with.
Yeah, I think again, Mason Rudolph. I mean, he's been in the system for 4 years, and he's had enough of experience that I'm comfortable with him as the backup. And Haskins, he's had some experience and he has the pedigree. So I think you're okay for 2021 anyway.
So let me ask you this: Scott Lane would spend the 24th pick on Kyle Trask. I don't agree with that. Would you spend a 4th rounder on Kyle Trask?
Oh, of course. I mean, if I think the way to go, as long as Ben's here, is you bring in project type players like Mason Rudolph, kind of, and Dwayne Haskins, and before that Landry Jones, and Kyle Trask would fall into that category. And 4th round pick's not, if you can find your future quarterback with that pick, that's not a bad way to go. So yeah, I wouldn't, but not the 24th pick. Absolutely not.
I'm not spending a single pick on a quarterback unless it's the number 1 pick.
Right.
Really. I'm not. And I don't even think the number 1 pick is the way to go, but not at 24.
Oh yeah. But
if you trade up, if for some reason you trade up, that means you're serious about getting a quarterback. Those are the only guys that I want.
Right.
And I still don't want Fields. I don't want Trask. I don't want Mac Jones. So there's only 2 or 3 guys that I would look at here, and they're not going to get them. Well, I don't think they go for a quarterback this year.
Well, that's what I mean by market ready for this year. I think you have 3 young guys in there, and you were mentioning a more experienced backup, but Rudolph's been in there for 4 years. So I mean, I think that's what they want now. They want that young guy to come in and learn the system, and he's in year number 4. So I think they're comfortable with him. Although it's going to be a slightly new system this year with Matt Canada, but yeah, I mean, the only reason why I would go with a Trask in the 4th round is if he does, if he doesn't make the team, he could always go to the practice squad for a year, and like a Hodges did. So
I want to bring up this gentleman here, and if you do not know this gentleman, get to know Andrew Wilbar on BTSC. He has been writing a whole lot more. He was doing Fan Forum not too long ago, and he does a lot of draft stuff, and he's very knowledgeable with the draft. I look at his stuff all the time. I've never mentioned him before. Love his stuff. Take what he says and take it to the bank, because he's pretty good. Now, even though I said don't really waste a pick on a quarterback, I don't really want to say waste. I just think they don't have a 5th round pick, and I would love for them to trade down to get a 5th round pick too. Not too far down, but throw in a 5th rounder in there too. Maybe trade down a couple of spots, which they could. We talked about that a little bit last week. But Davis Mills, he's right. Davis Mills is a very good day 2 prospect, and he would look at. Kellen Mond's been mentioned, and he calls Trask trash. I don't think that's a typo. Are day 3 picks at best and will be overdrafted. Thoughts? You know what? You know more than we do on this. I don't mind Mond. I like Davis Mills. My thing, though, is I'm still going to stick to the fact that if you don't go all out, just don't go at all, because I don't want another Landry Jones in the 4th round.
Well, can I add something to this?
Sure.
And these names here are a great example. Kellen Mond, who I didn't know until last week. Trask, who I barely know. Every year we always say, oh, they got to get their quarterback this year, because next year's class is, as the fans say nowadays, everything's trash and garbage, right? That's what they always say: trash, garbage, So you got to get the guy this year. Well, all these quarterbacks are cropping up this year, and then we had a bunch that cropped up last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. So the quarterback's going to be there in round 1 whenever the Steelers are ready to pick one when Bennett's gone, because there's such a premium on those guys, and we see how quickly teams are ready to give up on them with the Jets and Sam Darnold, and the Bears with Trubisky, they gave up on him. He was number 2 pick overall. So there's always going to be a market for a quarterback. So whenever they're ready to pick one and go, like you said, go big, there's going to be a guy that they could probably get in the first round.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you there. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So if you are hanging out here on YouTube or on Facebook, just stick around, take a quick stretch. It's going to be 5 seconds. That's all, I promise. If you are over on the other side on the podcast platform, check us out on the other side. It's really easy just to go ahead and click on number 2 of the Hangover, and you are going to find out what Tony thinks about the running backs and the rest of the offense when we come back. You've got to check it out. Do not miss it. Welcome back to the Steeler Hangover. This is part 2. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis. That is Anthony Defeo. You know him as Tone Deaf. You know me as Bad. And we are your Steeler Hangover team from BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. We are talking about buying and selling. Are the Steelers market ready? Or are they fixer-uppers on offense in the 2021 season? And we're doing it position by position. Tony has said that the quarterbacks are market ready. I think they're a little bit more of a fixer-upper, but I'm going to give the nod to Tony, and that's what we're going to do. I like what he said there. We have a live super chat coming in, and it's for $5. Joel Campbell, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the entertainment. Go Steelers. Appreciate it. Joel, if you do have a question, we'll look for it, and we'll throw it at the top of the queue. So feel free to send a question if you have one. But thank you so much. I do appreciate that, and we appreciate everybody here that is hanging out with us. So Badage says, LOL, I love watching the looks on your faces when reading the live chat. So I'm going to bring up Bad Itch because he mentioned 2 things from pop culture. You know, we're pop culture guys here. The one was where he got wrong. I wasn't going to call him out on it, but I'll call him out. It's actually from Leave It to Beaver. It's actually Eddie Haskell and not Haskins, who that actor just passed away last year, Tony.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I had his name on the tip of my tongue. I'm sure it'll come. He mentioned Leave It to Beaver again with, from why I was laughing. He didn't mention the source, but it was a joke from Revenge of the Nerds and Spirit Night when the dirtiest words ever spoken on television were, Ward, weren't you a little hard on the beaver last night? And so that's from Revenge of the Nerds. And when I saw that, I started to laugh. And he just mentioned that he loves seeing our faces when we read the live chat. Yeah, I love it. We also talked about Tony Dow. No.
That's the big brother,
Andrew
right?
Wilbar. No, yeah, that was what was the big brother's name? There was Beaver. There's Tony Dow was the older brother.
Yeah. I forget his character name.
My gosh, I should know this stuff, dude. I didn't watch it first round, but it wasn't
Wally? Is it Wally?
Wally, yeah, it was Wally.
Okay.
And Eddie Haskell, like I said, Eddie Haskell just died last year, and his name is Ken Osmond. No relation to the Osmond brothers, but he just passed away, and I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was like last May or something during quarantine. So, yeah, that's when he passed away. But he's been around a long time, a very beloved actor, and everybody knows an Eddie Haskell. And as a scout leader, I have a few Eddie Haskells there that that I just know that they're going to be. You see them from afar, and they're cutting up, and they come over. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Bryan, you're doing a great job."
Well,
next thing you know, they're throwing stuff at trees.
Yep.
And destroying
every group.
So, anyways, so let's go to the running backs, Tony. And the running backs situation, I think I know where you're going to go on this. It's a fixer-upper, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, even if they would resign Connor, I think it's still a fixer-upper because we know his injury history, and of course, Benny Snell. We were pretty excited about him 2 years ago, coming out of Kentucky in the 4th round. But other than that, he came on at the end of 2019, but he really didn't build on that last year. And of course, Anthony McFarland's a total unknown. So I think you have to you have to do some major repair on that position group this year.
Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. We need a new number 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
but you don't have to get him to number 1.
Yeah, that's my next question.
Right.
Where are you if you're general manager Tony Defeo?
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking at here? Because I think I know you wrote an article on who you really love in the draft.
Right.
So are you looking at, you just said not in the 1st round.
Not necessarily.
Who do you have your eye on, really?
I know nobody agrees with me. And I'm Steeler 11 said, my article yesterday, the only position that would be a reach is center. But I think that there's such a distinct drop off from Creed Humphrey, at least in terms of him being a safe pick. Landon Dickerson, obviously he's badass, or at least he was. But the injury history, you just don't know. So it'd probably be center for me, even though Creed Humphrey's probably the only one you could imagine being taken in the 1st round. But that's what's so intriguing this year, because what if he's sitting there and there's only one of those three running backs that's still on the board? It's going to be hard to pass on whether it's Najee Harris or Etienne or Javonte Williams. I mean, ideally, I'd like to wait till the 2nd round, like get somebody like Trey Sermon from Ohio State. But I mean, it's this is the year where it's just so many unknowns. But if you could wait till the 2nd round, I would rather wait till the 2nd round to get my running back of the future.
I would love to, but I don't care if they can go for a home run and they feel they can take care of those other spots later on in the draft. Then I'm fine with them going in the 1st round. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't mind if they wait until the 4th round. They could go in the 2nd round of the 4th, their 2nd pick of the 4th, and go Chuba Hubbard if they want to. They could go with a Gainwell from Memphis. Somebody has compared him to another McFarland. They can go up top if they want to go. I love Javonte so much that if they felt that he was good enough to go 24 and don't think they could get him at 55, then go Javonte. I kind of trust these guys. I do want to ask Andrew Wilbar, though. I do trust his stuff. I know he's in the live chat. In fact, we might have to get headphones on him in a couple weeks.
There you go.
That's something we might do. But Andrew, who are you taking at running back, and where are you taking a running back? I'd like to get your opinion, because here's the thing. John C. just said something that I really like, and I've been talking about this guy a lot. Tony knows I've been talking about this guy. I think you could get Trey Hill in the 4th round from Georgia.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people.
I think he's really good.
A lot of people like him now. I'm starting to see more and more people talk about him. And you brought him up weeks ago.
And you can get Quinn Miners is still out there. He's a 3rd rounder, I think. You've got Josh Myers, who could be a 3rd rounder. Might not drop to you, but the Ohio State kid's there. If you're comfortable with Dickerson, Landon Dickerson, then you're comfortable with his injury history, then you take him. So I'm going to jump ahead here, and I'm asking for people from the live chat. And so Matt Stofko, one of my buddies from Johnstown, is saying that you go ahead and fix the line first. So what I'm going to do here, another running back I missed is Trey Sermon. I like him a lot from Ohio State. Eric Pereira mentioned him. Somebody else mentioned him. If I don't give you credit, I do apologize. Oh, Sherry Richards, Sermon in the 3rd. Yeah, you can go with a guy like Sermon. What he did against Illinois in the Big Ten championship game. I was at a good friend's house that was when we went over there for a Christmas gathering, and they're big Ohio State fans. And I was watching this guy. I was like, whoa, he looks like he could be a runner for the Steelers.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
Before I even knew who he was, I was talking to my uncle. I was over at his house around the holidays, and he watched him. And I don't think it was maybe it might have been the Big Ten championship. And he kept saying, "That guy is a tank." And I said, "Wow, that sounds like a Steeler running back, at least from the past, anyway." So, yeah, I mean that's what caught my eye when my uncle described him as a tank.
So now we got your answer on that, and so it looks like you gave us an answer for center. You basically told us that center is a fixer-upper then.
Oh, it has to be. And with the I like BJ Finney as far as depth, and I mean CJ Hassenauer. He's such a unknown. I mean, how can that not be? Yeah, it has to be a fixer-upper. And you just lost a borderline Hall of Famer and Marquise Pouncey to retirement, and now you have Finney, who may or may not be done as far as based on what happened last year with him. And CJ Hassenauer, who's a total unknown.
All right. Before I bring up Wilbar, I want to bring up NVR, NDR. This is going to be a great draft. All caps great. That's all I know. You're right. I think this is going to be a great draft. I still think they need a fifth-round pick. I would love to see them get a fifth-round pick. Now, Wilbar, this is why I'm talking about this kid here. He could be 70 for all I know, but I'm calling him a kid. If Williams falls to 55, he's the pick. One sleeper I like is Deion Jackson, Duke. 5'10", 215, 4.4 speed, good pass blocker and receiver, 6th-round steal. Tavion Feaster from South Carolina is another one. Don't know a thing about either one of these guys, Tony. And I'm going to look these guys up.
Yeah, you got to look them up now. Definitely. Do our research.
I love it. Wilbar, you're my new best friend. And, well, I'll put you like number 7 on the list. How about that? But you're my buddy now, and now I'm going to be bugging you for stuff. So thank you. Good job. So let's go ahead and I want to bring up Tyler here. Arthur Mote said something similar on his podcast. The line doesn't look like it's gotten better since last year, but there's potential to improve at center and tackle. So let's talk about tackle. This is a very interesting position that I want to talk about here. And let's just talk about tackle and guard. So you can break them down since before we get short on time.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do this. Offensive line. Do you think they're market ready for 2021? Leave out center because we already did it.
Yeah, not necessarily. I think you're okay at guard and at guard, right and left guard with DeCastro. I think he was just injured last year, and Kevin Dotson looks like the real deal. Tackle is interesting because they obviously like Zach Banner a lot. They signed him to a 2-year deal. So he's in play. They signed Joe Haig. He's still pretty young. He said 38 career starts, and Shooks Okorafor was a 3rd-round pick in 2018. And he's had 19 starts at right tackle. So, but I think there's room there. I think there's room to bring in another tackle and let him compete. So I don't think they're market ready. I think they can use another tackle.
I am going to say for the 2021 opener, they are market ready at guard and tackle. I'm going to say they're ready to start the season for it. Now, can they last? I really think they can do okay with this line. I think DeCastro is going to be better. I think he was hurt last year. I think Banner is an incredible run blocker. You're going to see a full starting year of a run blocking extraordinaire in the form of Kevin Dotson.
Oh yeah.
Look, was there a lot? I mean, you could complain about Shooks all you want, but was he the problem last year? I think there was more of a problem than just Shooks.
He started 15 games.
Yeah, I really don't think that he was a problem. So I really think that this offensive line is going to be better going into 2021. And some people still love Big Al. Some people don't like Big Al. You might see Big Al. Big Al has a better chance to come back than James Conner does at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And you might see, I mean, they've had some conversations about him. And he might want to come back for another year. Remember, his best friend in the world is David DeCastro. it might be worth it for him to come back on a 1-year deal if he wants to play. So
Right.
I'm just thinking that that's a guy that you might see back. But you definitely have to draft. I'm not saying that you don't draft. Do you have to draft a guy that is ready right away? And somebody mentioned, it was Blake Literal says, and I was talking about this big time last week about how I want them to trade back. And Blake said that he's on team trade back now. Here's a guy, Donald Nolan. I respect what Donald says. Tevin Jenkins is a beast. OT pick should be there at 24. I think Donald, I think he's there at 32. I think he's there at 34. If you get a chance to trade, you could pick up maybe a 3rd round pick. You could pick up a 4th or a 5th. And if you get another 4th, that makes up for not having a 5th. I know you have 2 4s. But what I'm saying is I think you're okay, but you have one waiting in the wings for the future. If you have to throw one of those guys in, that's fine. They're going to take a tackle. Does he have to be a day 1 starter? I don't think so. And that's why I'm going through this exercise. But Tevin Jenkins, Donald, is awesome. He's the guy I want more than anybody. But
Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah, I think you could get him. I think you could get him in outside of the 1st round or very early in the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
If you trade back but don't trade too far, you get someone else in there. You could do a lot of damage in a draft this good for all the needs that you have. So that means that what if something happens? You get a 2nd round pick. You probably don't. But what happens if you can get Javonte a little quicker? Javonte might go early in the 2nd round. He might slip down to 55 because remember how far. Now Clyde Hilaire went 32. We know that, but remember how far the other guys. Jonathan Taylor. I almost wanted to see Jonathan Taylor Thomas from Full House, not Full House, from Home Improvement, and Jonathan Taylor and J.K. Dobbins, J.K. Rowling. How far they went down.
Right.
They were around the 55th pick, somewhere around there. Taylor might have been a little bit earlier, but the Steelers could have had Dobbins, went the other direction. We're not going to debate that, but you can get the 3rd running back in the draft, which could be Javonte Williams there, and get a great offensive lineman first. If you want to get the inside linebacker that I've been talking about, you want to get him in the 1st round, or you might be able to trade back and get him very early in the 2nd. So there's some things you can do there. There's a lot of places to mix and match. But that's why I'm saying this about tackle. I don't think you have to, for Tevin Jenkins, I don't think you have to get him at 24. You have room to move and still get him. It's a risk, but you can still get him. Yeah. And this is something Gyro just said, Najee to me is the best back in the class. That's why I love this running back class. There's people that are saying Williams is the best. I think Williams is awesome. I would take him. Etienne is the best. I would take Etienne. Najee is the best. I would take Najee. But like I said before, I could take Chuba in the 4th round. The kid from Buffalo, somebody mentioned, Ramondre Stevenson from Oklahoma. I could take him in the 4th round. And fill some of those other needs earlier. Sherry says this, and absolutely right. I could live with that, but a 3rd is probably more realistic. And I think that's for is that for a tackle? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she was saying.
I think she said trading down to 32, maybe you can snag a 3rd for that. For that move.
I think you can get a 3rd. Eric Paris is the only problem with trading down is need for cornerback and linebacker. Well, here's the thing. If you trade down, here's a really, and I mentioned this last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they would love to move up to get a running back because that's the position that they need more than anything. So they would love to move up there. And if they did, you would be picking at 32. And you could probably score, to move down that much, you could probably score an early third round pick, or you can get their pick at 64, maybe.
Right.
So that's definitely worth that trade and still get somebody that you want. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, you can maybe in the tackle position so deep this year, you could probably, who knows, you might be able to get one in the second round.
All right, we got 2 more positions to go over. Wide receiver. We could go quick on this one.
Oh, it's market ready for sure.
I really think it is. I still think you pick one later on because you know how they pick wide receivers. I still am jonesing for a guy that you can get late in the 4th or in the 5th, not really past the 5th. I've been seeing him in mock draft simulators that he's not going to go past the 5th, but I still am in love with Anthony Schwartz from Auburn, the second Auburn guy. He runs a 4. I think he's run a 4.28, something like that.
Wow.
He'd be a kick return man. He would be absolutely amazing. That's a guy that I would look at. I would bring in a receiver like that. You don't have to bring anything huge. Remember, Juju could be one more year on the team. You still could be looking at Juju's second walk year in a row.
Right.
It's a possibility. Wilbar says 4.26. Yeah, I was close. 4.28. Not bad. Yeah, this guy is blazing fast. But here's the problem. Everybody's finding out about this guy. Right. They talked to this guy at the Senior Bowl. They sat down and talked to him. Mule says he's a bad route runner. The thing where I'm going to take him, Mule, though, is I would take the fact that you have so much in front of him, have him on kick returns, you know he's going to break one. And
that you could teach somebody how to run routes at the professional level. It's not like it's impossible.
No. So I would, you've got Ike Hilliard there that can help out. So this draft is going to be so cool because there's so many ways to go, Tony. So I agree with you. I think they're market ready. They'll add one. They're not going to add one early. I would be disappointed if they added one in. I'd be disappointed if they added a safety in the first 3 picks. I'd be disappointed if they added a running back in the first 4 picks. And excuse me, a wide receiver in the first 4 picks. So there you go. The last position group that I want to talk about, it's the tight ends. This is an interesting one because you have Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
But what else do you have?
Yeah, that's the problem. And that's he's definitely a great, he's become a dependable weapon, or not dependable. He has to drop. So Ben's a bit depending on him. He's a very, very good weapon, almost like a 5th receiver out there. But you don't have anybody at number 2. You have Zach Gentry, who's proven nothing over 2 years. And after that, who else? Kevin Rader. Is he still on the team? I don't even know.
He is. And I think he's got the best chance right now to be the backup. But there's a guy that Simon Elias says you should bring back. Simon Elias, excuse me. And I kind of agree with him. I think after June, you might see them bringing back Jesse James on the cheap.
Yeah, because he's already made a more money than he probably ever thought he would when he signed that deal with the Lions 2 years ago. All that guaranteed money he got in that deal, so he's probably you might be able to get him on a as you said, a pretty cheap deal.
Now, if I pick somebody else that said it and you said it beforehand, I remember I don't multitask well, so I'm going to bring up a few people here. NVR, Tommy Tremble. Mule Skinner says Tommy Tremble from Notre Dame, round 3 if he lasts. There's another guy that I like a lot. I wasn't thinking I like Freiermuth. I just don't think Blake says trade back for him. I like Freiermuth. Stacy says still need a tight end. The guy that I like, there's a guy you can get in the 5th round. They don't have a 5th round pick though, but Trey McKitty out of, I'm liking Georgia. I'm liking some guys from Georgia this year. You can get a Trey McKitty if you wait, but is he going to be ready right away? Trey's more of a blocking tight end. Andrew says Dax Raymond still has a shot at the roster, and they have him there. The other guy that I was looking at is now I just lost his name. I know you guys are going to help me out with this, but the kid from Boston College too. That's a guy that would be a 3rd round pick that I would look at too. And like I said, I just lost his name, and somebody's going to throw it up here in a second. So I appreciate that, but this draft is going to be so fun.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun when they're at the end of the 1st round because and the possibilities are endless, and they have so many needs.
Yeah, the draft week is going to be great, and also so check out BTSC Draft Week. Tony, I don't know if I even told you this. We are going again this year. We are going to go after every single pick, not you and I. A whole bunch of us. Mm-hmm. After the 1st round pick, anybody from BTSC that wants a chance to, from the BTSC contributors that wants to go ahead and get on and talk about it, we're going to bring you in one at a time to talk about the 1st round pick for 5 minutes or so. So we're going to be doing that right after the 1st round ends. Then immediately after every single pick, one of us is going to go on. It could be Michael and Jeffrey. It could be me and Tony. It could be the boys from Down Under. It could be a combination of Jeff and Coach KT. It could be it could be Shannon White. It could be it could be any one of us. The Scobros. It could be those guys.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, before I get onto anything else, this is a very special day. This is the 47th birthday of one Richard Schofield. Big Bro Sco. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Big Bro Sco.
Such an innocent young age, 47.
What a whippersnapper. Yeah, he's young to us.
he has his whole life ahead of him. He'll love it. He'll love it. Happy birthday.
That's happy birthday, my man, Big Bro. One of my favorite Sco brothers. I'm not going to say which one's my favorite, but he ranks up there. As far as Sco Bros, I love that guy. A great dude. Happy birthday from April 5th. So, do you know some other famous people that were born on April 5th? More famous than Big Bro Sco?
How could there be? I don't know anybody that would be more famous. By the way, he carries the Scobro show, so he's the head cheese in that Scobro show.
You're gonna remember he's one of your bosses. The other one's one of your bosses.
I'm very controversial.
Agnetha Faltskog. It's her birthday today.
Who's that?
She's one of the A's in ABBA.
Oh, okay.
She's the blonde from ABBA. So, but you're going to love this one. The master of the diamond cutter was born today in 1956, Tony.
Diamond Dallas Page.
DDP. Diamond Dallas Page.
So he's retirement age now. Holy cow.
I tell you what. One of the greatest men. When I say men, I'm talking greatest people. He is a fantastic person. And he has saved the lives of so many people with his DDP yoga. He is he's fantastic. Not just other wrestlers. He's helped a lot of people lose a lot of weight, save lives. He's fantastic. He's actually a humanitarian. Great guy. His real name was Paige Falkenberg. And he did not start wrestling until he was 35 years of age. Now, he was in there as a manager, but they laughed at him, and he became a Hall of Famer. He was great.
Yeah.
Also, are you familiar with House Party, Tony?
Vaguely.
Kid and Play?
Oh,
Christopher Kid Reed from Kid and Play. His
Please tell me
birthday
he's
is today.
older.
He's older than us, 1964.
Okay, good. Because I remember when they were really young, and I thought I was a teenager. So, okay, good. I feel better.
Pharrell Williams, the singer of Happy.
Oh, okay. He's really talented.
He was born. He is a year younger than Big Brosco, a year older than Big Brosco. If Big Brosco was born in 74, Pharrell turns 48 today. So Big Brosco was born the very same day as South Korean actor Tae-woong. I might not be doing well with that. And somebody that we mentioned on the show already, was born on this day in 1976. We talked about him about 10 minutes ago. Steelers wide receiver coach Ike Hilliard.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday.
45 years old today. Sterling K. Brown is 45 years old today. He was from The People versus O.J. Simpson. He's also, for Steeler fans, you know him from a show that is very Steeler-centric. This Is Us.
Yeah.
Big Steeler fans, This Is Us. Sterling K. Brown, Emmy winner. He's won multiple Emmys. Great stuff. So his birthday is there today as well, but they all pale in comparison to one Richard Schofield, Big Bro Sco. So happy birthday, my man. We love you here. And we love you so much, we're not going to sing to you.
Yeah, that would be cruel. That'd be cruel.
So there we go. And I didn't see any of I really didn't. I was looking at another page, so I did not see any of the live chats there, but I'm going back through and I see hashtag Pay Kyle. I knew Pay Kyle was going to get in there. So from DDP to BBS, Big Bro Sco, happy birthday to all of you. Sterling K. Brown was in Black Panther as well. And you know what? We're going to have to do this. Steelers Pittsburgh said it, and I want you to go ahead and look down there. Big Bro Sco. Bart Scott didn't say it as well. We've got to do this. So I'll go ahead and throw that out after we do our regular ending. But hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight, Tony. Appreciate you.
Oh, it was fun. It was a fun, informative show. I learned a lot tonight, and I hope everybody else did, and I hope you did too. It was great.
So what I'm going to say is you've got the hashtags BTSCBAD, hashtag DEFEOMAN, Defeo Man, or you've got our website, our web addresses, email addresses. Gosh, I'm killing it at the end here, and not in a good way. You have our email addresses as well, stmyron@gmail.com. and tonedef@netzero.net, the oldest web address, the email address in the history of man.
Oh, God.
Tony's going to leave that. He's going to go watch. He's going to go on his MySpace account next and see what's going on there.
I can't get rid of that. I can't get rid of that account. I want to get rid of it, but I just can't. Every time I call, they say we'll give it to you for free.
So, hey, thanks so much to all of you. Yeah, go ahead and get those reservations in for the draft that is coming up. It's your draft. Have fun with it. It's coming up in 3 weeks. In 2 weeks, we are going to do the draft lottery. So get ready for that as well. And for Tony Defeo, my name is Bryan Anthony Davis. Just when you think you've got all the answers,
we keep changing the questions. Have a great week.
Can't wait.
Woo!
Happy birthday, BBS.